Yo, what is up? What is up, YouTube Boxing family? It is IK right here. I'm back at it with another good video for y'all today. Yeah, let's get right into it, man. I'm gonna be talking about Mr. Floyd, Kid Austin Schofield, um, based off of his recent decision making to promotionally sign with Golden Boy Promotions. Um, I don't personally for me, I don't like this decision. I think this is a really bad decision for him, and I'm gonna just break it down in this video as best as I can to try to state my case why I believe Floyd, he deserves a lot better, and why Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy Promotions does not serve the interests of Black American fighters. And I think it'll be a good video for me to give you guys, the proper, leeway for any fighters that are watching that that think different. So let's talk about Floyd. He's a very good fighter. He's 11-0 with 9 KOs by way of those wins. He fights at lightweight. I don't know why they list him as a super featherweight. He just fought at lightweight, so I want to say that's where he's going to campaign at, which will be a pretty good start. He's 5'7". Not too sure about his arm reach. I know he's an orthodox fighter. He was born and raised in Austin, Texas, but he was born in Jersey City in New Jersey. So he's a pretty good fighter. Very dedicated to the game. The biggest thing about him is just that he's never really been that how should I say, he's never been that active outside of boxing with social media and just talking with anybody. So the only reason why people have been bringing up his name lately is because him and his father has had history with Devin the Dream Haney, and Devin Haney is obviously the current undisputed lightweight champion at 135, and Floyd and Devin used to spar each other. So Floyd has been using Devin as a means to basically try to keep his name relevant, around him, which I don't think that's a really good thing to do. I think the biggest issue that I have with fighters doing that is because they're really not how should I say, they're not really making themselves look better. They're just trying to find a way to keep themselves relevant in the sport. So the best way to do something like that is to start controversy over something that is not really, how should I say, it's not producing anything spectacular. You're not really gaining anything out of it. So the biggest problem is just that when you look at the level of criticism that fighters give other fighters, they really end up being very dishonest towards one another, and they like to commit a lot of hearsay, where people can just basically just take it for what it's worth, and then people just do what they want to do with it to try to spin it off and try to say, oh well, it was like this, it wasn't like that, and this fighter said this and that fighter said that. So it's all hearsay at the end of the day. But based off of the situation with Floyd, Floyd Schofield and Devin Haney, him and his father has been very vocal, trying to say oh well, they beat up Devin Haney in sparring, they got the best of him, which that could be true, but Devin Haney doesn't really say anything about it, and he doesn't need to say anything about it, because it's alright, look dude, it's sparring. I'm never going to fight you anyway because you have such a long way to go. But Floyd wants to fight Devin so bad that at this point of their career, it's just Devin Haney doesn't really have anything to really gain out of a Floyd win. And people will try to spin this off of what I'll say, to say, oh nah man, that's a duck, bro. Devin Haney should be fighting guys like Floyd, if they call him out. But when Devin calls out Gervonta Tank Davis or anybody else in boxing, it's people try to spin that off and try to say Devin is just clout chasing guys like Gervonta Tank Davis or Vasyl Lomachenko, and all these other fighters, which it makes no goddamn sense because nobody don't want to fucking fight Devin. So, I mean, that's at 135. I mean, once Devin moves up to 140, it's gonna be a whole different story. But it's like Devin has nothing to really gain fighting people that talk crap about him, and they're just gonna get a good payday, and Devin's gonna have to just do what he normally does best, where he just beats up on his opposition. And now, from what we hear, Devin has to fight George Kambosos again down in fucking Australia, which I'm not looking forward to. But it's like, it's just sad, man. It's just like George Kambosos, he should be out of the picture. I don't know why, he tries to make it seem like him and Devin need to get it going, but he's obviously doing it for money because he knows that, he's going to get his bread. So, obviously that's how it's being held for Devin. And I'm not so sure who Tank is going to fight, but I'm sure Gervonta. I would like to see Gervonta fight Jojo Diaz. If, Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe, if they could get a fight in with Jojo Diaz, or try to fight Michelle Lazarza Rivera, or try to get a fight in with, I don't know. There's like I wouldn't mind Jose Valenzuela. That's a good fight, but he has a fight lined up in September. So I don't know who Tank is really going to be fighting next, because he has nobody here up on this list where he really doesn't have anybody available other than who. Is he going to fight Miguel Berchelt? I wouldn't want to see that fight. I don't know, man. I think at this point of Tank's career, he needs to start making moves, because there's nobody here for him. He's kind of being left out in the entire division. And honestly, if Gervonta don't fight anybody credible in the top 10, I don't think he should be fighting anybody that we don't want to see him fight, other than Vasyl Lomachenko, which that fight can easily be made, in late October or early November. Or he could fight, I don't want to say Gustavo Lemos. Fuck that. Nobody nobody doesn't know him. Who else can he fight? I mean, there's really nobody here. Looking on BoxRec, there's nobody here. I mean, he really can't fight anybody in the top 50. So it's it's just a bunch of no-names that people don't know. And that's what's pissing me off about Gervonta. He, honestly, if he goes ahead and fights Rolly in a rematch, then we all know what Tank is doing. He's ducking Devin. He's not wanting to fight big high-quality names. And I hope he doesn't fight Jermaine Ortiz. I don't think that's a good fight for Jermaine. I think Jermaine, he needs to take it easy. Just keep building up his resume and just continue to find more experience. But I don't think that's a good fight right now for Jermaine. Definitely don't fight Gustavo Lemos. Nobody fucking knows this guy, and I'm not really too sold on his last performance against Lee Selby. And then obviously Frank Martin, he's fighting Jojo Diaz, so that's gonna be a pretty good. Or no, he's gonna be fighting Chris Colbert. But yeah, I think the next best available opponent is Jojo Diaz. Jojo, he hasn't been in the ring since oh wow, Jojo, he's fighting William Zepeda. Holy shit, damn. Okay, so Jojo Diaz, he's caught up with the fight because Zepeda, he wants smoke with Jojo Diaz. So yeah, damn, that's gonna be crazy, man. But yeah, there's nobody else left available for Tank. But I don't want to see him and Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia, he's obviously playing around with Tank. So I don't know, man. But as far as Floyd Schofield goes, I don't like the fact that he signed with Golden Boy, and here's my reasoning for why. Is because Floyd, he's a very good fighter, no doubt. But when you look at the political stance of all the divisions, the reason why fighters that sign with a promotional company that screws them over for the sake of them just getting their name out there, They're doing it for the sake of being, promoted, at a big level. But when you look at the progression of those fighters that are with poor promotional businesses that don't do their job to promote their fighters, and they obviously have a political mechanism of picking and choosing fighters that they want to promote and not promote fighters that they don't like. That obviously shows political, insurrection and political dissonance towards another person. That being racism. So the problem that I have with Floyd being with Oscar is that Oscar has had such a huge history with multiple other fighters in the past, treating them like crap, not giving them what they paid, what they've been paid for, and then obviously not giving them enough fights for them to stay active. And I can name 3 perfect black athletes that have been treated like crap, and then I could also use a Hispanic fighter as another good example. I'll use Rashidi Ellis, I'll use Jermell Charlo, and I will also use who's that other guy that was with Golden Boy and then he got screwed over and left? I could use Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder, he had his reign to fame away from Golden Boy when he went with the PBC to go fight Bermane Stiverne, and then obviously he signed with Lou DiBella, and then from there on he left Lou, and then he became his own promoter or his own boss with the PBC. So Deontay Wilder is a great example. He was being screwed over in Golden Boy. He was trying to get fights, and Oscar he wasn't making Deontay Wilder anything better. And then once Deontay Wilder was getting close to the world title level, Oscar was obviously trying to set him up to try to freeze his career out, and then Deontay Wilder ended up leaving, and he said F you to Golden Boy because Golden Boy's not giving him the opportunities that he once had. But I'll also use Travell Mazian. If you guys don't know who Travell Mazian is, Travell Mazian was a very, very good up-and-coming, how should I say, he was a very good up-and-coming fighter. Unfortunately, he passed away in a really terrible car accident. They called him the Black Magic for his nickname. He was 6'2", with a 75-inch, arm reach, and he was 17-0 with 13 knockouts. He was a good fighter, man. I definitely liked him. I had nothing, bad to say about him. I should have made a video to kind of tribute him, back in the past, but I just didn't know that he actually passed away prior to, I forgot what year, 2020, 2019, 2020. So yeah, basically he passed away at the very at the very start of 2020, leading up to I think February or March, because he got into that car accident and then he unfortunately died. So yeah, but he was a very good fighter, man. He had a lot of skills. He had everything set up right for him, and he did everything right in his career. Very good fighter. I'm not too sure what stance he was, but I think he was Orthodox, if I'm not mistaken. But he was really, really good, man, and Golden Boy screwed him over in so many fucking fights where, he should have been, contending for a world title. And I think if he didn't pass away, he probably would have been sent over to the PBC by now. He would have probably fought Erickson Lubin. He would have fought, Jared Hurd, Luis Arias, all those guys. But it sucks that he passed away, and I hope everything is well with him and whatever life that could be called the afterlife. But yeah, man, it just sucks, man. But people like that are a great example of how Golden Boy doesn't care about Black American fighters. They didn't even say sorry, or they didn't even try to send any condolences out to the family. They just kind of swept it under the under the rug, and then try to act like nothing happened. But once Errol Spence and other Black American figures got got behind it, that's when Golden Boy actually gave a fuck. So yeah, man, it's just sad, man. It's just really sad that Golden Boy would do something that evil. But then moving forward with the other fighters, Jermell Charlo and Rashidi Ellis. I'll talk about Rashidi because he's a great example. But for those of you that don't know Rashidi's issue, when he beat Alexis Roca back in 2020, um, he was supposed to move forward with his career, but just out of nowhere he got screwed over, and he wasn't even given any opportunities ever since then. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just being treated like crap. Like it just made no goddamn sense. He wasn't given any opportunities ever since his fight with Alexis Roca. But but compared to Alexis Roca after that loss, he was able to get fucking fights, and he was able to stay active. But ever since then, it was such a really shitty management of Golden Boy's promotion to not give Rashidi any fights that whole 2020 of that year almost being finished, leading up to now. That's almost 2.5 years of his career wasted. And Golden Boy tried to freeze this man out. And luckily for him, he was able to get out of that contract. But that's another great example of black American athletes being screwed over. Because I don't know if Oscar is a racist, but I'm pretty sure he is racist. And I mean, if anybody is watching, I don't care if you are connected with him. I personally believe he does not care about black American talent. And if you translated that in any other sport, you would be kicked out of the sport, immediately. But it's like Rashidi Ellis should have been fought for a world title by now. He shouldn't have been frozen out in his career. He should have been able to be given multiple opportunities where he should have been put under the pedestal of some sanctioned body, in which I don't like sanctioned bodies, and I'm against them, and I don't like to see them. But um, when you really think about it, he really should have been at the world title level. He should have been fighting a top 10 guy at that time frame. He should have beat Radza Butayev. He should have beat David Avanesian. He could beat his ass. He should have been beat Amanta Stanionis. He would have wiped the floor with Conor Benn. Jaron Ennis would be his toughest fight out of his entire career. He could definitely beat a Keith Thurman if he's able to. Virgil Ortiz, he said on multiple occasions that he been wanted that fight. Virgil and his team have been very quiet of not making that fight with him. But it's it clearly shows that Rashidi Ellis was being treated like shit the entire time with Golden Boy. And you can easily see that Golden Boy has a political stance of only supporting fighters of their Mexican heritage. And I'm not to say that's just the only fighters that they support. I'm pretty sure they do, they do it with other ethnic cultures or ethnic groups, but primarily it like, to me at least, it seems like Mexican American talent is the only talent that they politically select out of a very few pool of fighters that they've been connected with, and they will only do that because they are the only, they're their only promotional hopes of making their promotional brand bigger. Which isn't true, because every promotional company, if they're smart, they should be promoting their fighters right. They should be giving them all the money that they deserve, and they should be giving them all the promotion that should be posted on billboards, on athletic websites, on sponsorships, everything. Like, that's what a promoter should do. But promoters don't do that. They act like, disgusting status politicians, where they're screwing you over and they're making up lies to say, oh, no, 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 don't worry, I'll be sure to fix that. But then they don't, right? They don't fucking fix it. So, either way, I mean, it's, it's very stupid. It kind of doesn't make any damn sense. And at the end of the day, to me at least, it's just really mentally retarded. But that's just another great example of Golden Boy screwing over fighters. And I mean, if you want to get over to the Hispanic side of how they screwed over fighters, look at Mikey Garcia. He was with Golden Boy. He left Golden Boy at one point in time. Same thing with Top Rank. He said fuck Top Rank. And guess what? He started making more money over at the PBC when him and Arrow got it going, along with Robert Easter Jr. and plenty of other great fighters that came along with him. Mikey changed the sport for for quite the longest, when he started having these big mega payday fights with all the big like big, high and mighty names in boxing when he started to leave the corrupt promotional businesses like Golden Boy and Top Rank. So, um, I think that's a great example of just like, the nature of shitty promotional businesses like Golden Boy and Top Rank that doesn't care about the nature of promoting fighters that deserve their shine, like Black American fighters or Hispanic fighters that don't get enough shine, or any fighters. It shouldn't matter what racial, ethnic creed that you possess. You are a human being. You chose the sport because you love the sport, and you should be treated like any other equal coming into the sport. But obviously that's not true because boxing is such a cold, evil game. But if that wasn't if that wasn't there in existence, almost every single fighter that you should have been known in boxing should have been shining by now, or they should have been tough to matched up with all the best opposition, where everybody knows that they're either the best or they're not the best. But let me use some other examples like Charlo and Luis Feliciano, and that's pretty much it. But I'll talk about Luis Feliciano. If you don't know who this guy is, he's a very good fighter. I respect him a lot. He should be. I'm not too sure about his fighting situation, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he fought like not too long ago. So I'm not too sure what his situation is, but I hope everything is good on his end. But yeah, he's a very good fighter. I like Luis Feliciano, but he's a Puerto Rican fighter, 15-0 AKOs, and yeah, he fought back in May of this year. So I don't know what's happening as far as his situation goes, but yeah, I guess he fought down in Mexico, so he's like, he just got back into the mix, trying to get back up to the world title stage. So yeah, he's a very, very good fighter, man. Has a lot of skills, has amazing power. He can box, extremely well, and he just knows, what he's doing. But he's another great example of Golden Boy screwing over, certain, ethnic breed fighters. But yeah, he was frozen out for quite the longest, ever since 2019, when he beat Herbert Acevedo. Not too sure who this guy was. I think he was just some other dude that probably probably had you know, certain connections of just getting a fight in with Golden Boy. But ever since then, he hasn't been fighting since he lost to Feliciano. So, just like Rashidi Ellis, he got put on the shelf for like three and a half years, and he had to go through lawsuits and trials and tribulations, and ever since that point, leading into now, him and Rashidi Ellis got out at the same time of their contract, so they were able to, free themselves from the financial slavery that Golden Boy was doing to them. But yeah, man, it's just all fucked up because it's like their careers could have easily been screwed up a lot faster or a lot more. And yeah, like I'm happy that Luis and Rashidi Ellis, they were able to get out of their contracts, and hopefully their careers can shine a lot faster. But that's another good example. And then the final example would be Jermell Charlo. For those of you that don't know, Jermell Charlo, he is the undisputed 154-pound champion of the world. And yeah, Jermell Charlo, he was supposed to be granted a title shot opportunity to fight Canelo. I think this was prior to him winning a title against John Jackson. But basically, for those of you that don't know, Golden Boy was supposed to they were supposed to grant Jermell Charlo the opportunity to fight Canelo when Canelo was supposed to defend his title up against Jermell Charlo. But at this time of the fight with him and John Jackson, remind you, Canelo at this time frame, when he vacated the WBC title to go ahead and fight, I forgot who he fought, but let me go back to 2016. We're going to go back to 2016. After he had beat Miguel Cotto for the, well, actually, no, hold on. It wasn't that. He beat Matthew Hatton, I know that. But yeah, let's go back to 2016. Yeah, 2016. Wait, was it Liam Smith? Yeah, I think Canelo vacated at this time. But at 2016, yeah, he beat Amir Khan. But prior to this, I know for a fact that he had like the WBC super welterweight title. Okay, yeah, I got that. So after he lost to Floyd, he won. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Oh, so actually, yeah. Wait. I get it now. I get it. Canelo, he lost to Floyd back in 2013, where he had the unified titles, and then Floyd, he picked the belts up, beat his ass, and then he vacated. But then after that, that's where he started fighting at the Canelo catch weight of 155, and then leading up to, the Miguel Cotto fight. That's when he already moved up to go fight for the WBC middleweight title. So, at this time frame, okay, I get it now. At this time frame, the WBC title either changed hands or it was, I guess once held by whoever took the title at this time frame. But yeah, Jermell Charlo, from what I heard, he was supposed to fight Canelo, at some point in time back in, back at the 154 days. But, well, I mean, he's already been fighting at 154. But when Canelo was at 154, he was supposed to fight Jermell Charlo. And as far as what we knew from this time frame, it was kind of like screwed over for the sense of, okay, if Jermell Charlo's not going to get this fight with Canelo, then who else is he going to fight? So, all right, here we go. So basically, I want to say at this time frame, yeah, because Jermell Charlo, yeah, like as far as I know, he got the belt at this time frame, but I don't know. Wait, hold on. Who was the WBC? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, because if I could find that, um, hold on. WBC, 154 rankings of 2015. If we could find that, that would be a very, very good map to see where everything was at this time, because that'll give me a better view of trying to see where everything should have been at this time frame. Alright, so for the WBC at 154, this is according to BoxingNews.com of United Emirates, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't know what site this is, but if you guys want to trust it, go right ahead. But all right, perfect. So I guess at this time frame, Floyd Mayweather, he was at the champion, and then Jermell Charlo, he was ranked number 3 at the time, but Canelo was still ranked number 1, which makes no sense whatsoever because, well, actually no, it actually does, because Canelo, he was still fighting at 154. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. Because when he was fighting at 154, I'm sure Golden Boy was trying to set that fight up between him and Charlo, where him and Canelo should have been fought, and Canelo, he would have been able to, fight Jermell Charlo again for the WBC title, but he obviously didn't want the smoke with him. So if you look at it from this time frame, I'm pretty sure for Floyd, he was the champion at this time, but when he had the belt at 2013, and I don't think he really held up the belt for that much longer. Yeah, so he only held up the WBC super welterweight title Oh, okay, I get it now. He held the WBC, super welterweight title until that late or that early 2014, back in September. So, he should have, he would have been able to like do what he should have done, if he wanted to unify. Which I think at this time frame, that's when Jamal, Charlo, and Andre they had titles, but I'm not too sure what happened, with that. But either way, Floyd Mayweather held the titles up until I guess back in 2015. That should be the right time frame because he had like a welterweight title and a super welterweight title, at the same time. So at this time frame, he probably vacated his super welterweight title after the Marcos Maidana rematch. So that's where everything kind of just, fell apart back to Floyd Mayweather fighting at welterweight. So therefore, he just kind of went his own way. So yeah, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world because why would the WBC title be vacant, be vacant for so long? But that was obviously only vacant up until 2015, and then whoever was fighting for that title, which I don't know, but I'm not too sure. I think honestly at this time frame, it probably would make a lot better sense where Floyd, if he held the title up until 2015 when he fought Marcos Maidana in the rematch, and then he vacated, then that whole year probably would have just been like a champion that probably took the belt, and then he probably lost his title through like a title defense or whatever. But yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. But basically, Jamel Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, they were supposed to fight at one point in time. That never happened at all. And then Canelo decided to fight at Canelo weight, where he started just fighting guys above the 154-pound limit. And that wasn't fair. And Canelo, he was just being given gifted decisions over certain opponents like Lara, and the Austin Trout victory was like a little bit suspect, but ever since then, that's pretty much how everything was being set up for him. But yeah, Canelo should have been fought Jamel Charlo at one point in time, but Golden Boy, screwed him over to prevent Canelo from fighting Charlo. But basically, that's pretty much it. I mean, I would hope, the best for Floyd Kid Austin Schofield. I think he's a very, very good, developing talent. And I mean, if he thinks Golden Boy is a good fit for him, I mean, go for it. I just pretty much laid out my, objective, thoughts on, the history that Golden Boy has had, up against black American fighters and certain Hispanic, fighters that were with him at one point in time. So I just think it's just best just to take a look at that, and maybe hopefully sooner than later we can see Floyd at the bigger stage with PBC and whoever. But I think Floyd, if he wants to become undisputed, like he says, in like 3 divisions, because I think that's his goal. But I think it's best for him to start being his own boss and not trying to work for somebody that's going to prevent you from getting to that point. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'll see you guys later. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. And this is K-Rod. I'm signing out. Peace.